My name is Megan Pullen, and I'm a project manager in the Physical Activity Lab at Virginia Tech. I'm also a yoga therapist, a registered yoga teacher, and a certified personal trainer. So the intention of today's video is to really talk about how we can support our bodies to move and flourish in a garden setting. So as we know, gardening can be pretty intense sometimes with moving equipment, moving mulch and bags of soil, compost, digging, shoveling, weeding, watering, all the things. So just to start off with our physical activity guidelines for adults, we want to get at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic activity. So whether that's brisk walking or, again, moving in the garden, weeding, carrying, watering jugs, watering the garden. And then we also want to get 2 days of strength training. So luckily our lab has created a program called Lift, which you can also, if you're a master gardener or in the VCE, any of those kind of programs, you can get trained up on that, or you can look to your local VCE office to see if any agents are offering that program. But today we'll just talk about some of the movement patterns that could be helpful. So in yoga, a few of the postures that we can work on, and again, some of these are layered into the Lift program. We might think about a chair pose. So our chair pose is going to help to activate the glutes, the hamstrings, and also the core. Now, as we're coming into our chair pose, we want to think about our pelvic orientation here, and so how we can support the spine, and also by keeping the abdominals engaged. So just a gentle tuck of the tailbone, just checking in there, can help to support that. So that's one posture that we can work on. Another would be different warriors or lunges, a crescent lunge. So for our crescent lunge, we're going to bend into the front leg, the back toes. We'll press into the mat while the heel is going to lift up. So now the arms can come into this posture as well by bringing the biceps up near the ears. We can also leave the arms down. But just coming into this posture, we can even lower into it and lift up to get a little bit more of that engagement here in the glutes. We'll try that on the other side. So coming into our crescent lunge here on the other side, coming into it and then lifting up. So just a couple options to start to wake up through our lower extremities. And we'll step it up. So from here, a lot of times when we're in the garden, we might have to squat down to pick something up. There's a couple ways that we can do this. And in a gym setting, we might think of our two big lifts are deadlifts and squats. So to come in to our squat position, kind of like our chair, but you want to bring your feet at least hip distance apart. So we want to have the toes pointing slightly out, and we'll squat down into it. And so as you see, my chest is going to come a little bit forward. So now we don't want to bend all the way into it, right? We do want to keep up, but we can think about our chest kind of being in line with the center points of our feet. So right, the arch of the feet. So as we're bending into it, we might create this angle here in the body, which is going to be a little bit different for everyone because we all have different torsos and lengths of the legs and everything like that. But again, just being able to squat down, keeping the gaze high, so we're drawing the shoulder blades together and then picking up from there. Another way, and I've shared the article as well in the email, and I can post it, is to actually use the thighs as kind of a brace or a support when we're picking something up. So almost like as we're picking something up, we'll come here, and so that's going to help again to support that nice angle in the body, and then we can press up from there. So just another way that we can think about picking things up from there. And so to kind of build off of that, another way that we can think about carrying things in the garden, again, watering, if you do have to hand water a space, we can think about farmer's carries, and they're called that for a reason in the gym. So whether we have, 2 watering cans or 2 5-gallon buckets, we can kind of squat down. Again, the feet can be hip distance, or they can be a little bit wider than the hips to create a little bit more of a foundation. Think about keeping the chest up, reaching down, and pressing up through the legs. So again, one more time from the side. So, finding that nice foundation in the feet, squatting down, keeping that chest and gaze up, and then pressing up into it from there. So another, task that we will complete in the garden is to weed. So we have a couple of different tools that we can incorporate. Actually, I have one of my favorite hoes over here. It's called a backhoe. And so we can utilize different tools to help us. And so what I really like about this one, you can kind of see why it is called a backhoe, because it's shaped like a little bat. But things like this, it can help us so that we are more upright in the garden. We have this tool to kind of give us that length. Other options when we're weeding is to either one, we can again squat down, and as we're squatting down, this takes a lot of flexibility, not only in the hips and the knees, but also in the ankles. So this is one option. To come into our deep squat, we might walk the feet a little bit wider than the hips, sink into it. One option here. Another option could be to have one knee down, one knee up, and kind of weeding from here using your hand tools or just using your hands if the ground is soft enough. We can switch to the other leg. We can also have both knees down. And so from here, even this posture, it's a lot of, you can see, it's a lot of flexion in the knees and then a lot of dorsiflexion in the feet. So just thinking about how we can support the lower extremities here. You can even, if you have, any kind of props or a piece of foam or anything, we can even rest that in between here to make the angles of the knees just a little bit less, to give us some more support there. But just a couple of things that we can think about when we are weeding in the garden. So yeah, that pretty much concludes this video, just thinking about those movement patterns. And again, to reiterate the physical activity guidelines, we can support our bodies in the garden by getting that 150 minutes of moderate aerobic activity, but also getting 2 days of strength training. So just thinking about how we could incorporate that into our weeks. So thank you.